Hi guys, welcome to day 3 of lesson 21. We walk through the guided practice and the independence practice today. I'm going to do a lot of talking versus actually writing, so just kind of help you guys to walk through these assignments here. Okay, so number 14 it says conclude. The diagram shows lines L, so this is line L, M, N, P, and Q are cut by the transversal T, cut by the transversal here. Which two lines are parallel and how do you know? Okay, so based on what we learned the last few days here, those parallel lines, if they are parallel and cut by a transversal, it forms a bunch of congruent angles or angles that are supplementary or a linear pair. Okay, so when you look through them, okay, so looking at line L and M, if this angle is 120, if they are parallel, this angle has to be 120 as well. So they are not parallel. The next one here, these guys are not the same either. Okay, so none of these three guys are parallel to one another. We move forward to angle P and Q, and just looking at Q here, it's obviously not parallel to any one of them because it's going in the opposite direction. But when you look at P here, they have this measure 160 at the bottom, so instead of the top like the other guys here. And we know that when it's at the bottom here, it's going to be a linear pair to the ones that are on the top. So which one is going to make 180 degrees? Which of those angle here? So if I add 60 to 120, 110 or 100 will make 180 degrees, and that's the one that's parallel. Okay, so that's what you're going to write on here and kind of explaining why those two lines are parallel. Okay, number 15, it says Ari drew the two lines P and Q, so P and Q, and a transversal line T perpendicular to Q. Okay, here's perpendicular to Q, which makes 90 degrees right here. With measure of angle 1, the measure of angle 1 right here is 90 degrees. He says that since angle 1 and angle 2 are corresponding angles, they're in the corresponding location, angle 1 is congruent to angle 2. And the measure of angle 2 has to be 90 degrees as well. But when he measures angle 2, it's only 75 degrees. What is Ari's mistake? Okay, yes, it's a corresponding angle. Yes, it's cut by a transversal. Okay, but what's the problem with Ari's mistake? What's the problem with lines P and Q? All right, so yes, this is perpendicular, but are those lines parallel? Do they make that relationship that we've talked about when two parallel lines are cut by a transversal? Okay, go ahead and explain that mistake there. Okay, number 16, it says, argue. In the diagram, A, B, C, and D is a parallelogram. Write an argument to support the claim that the measure of angle X right here and the measure of angle Y are equal to one another. How do we know that they're equal? If this parallelogram here, it forms some parallel lines. Here's your parallel line with this one. Here's a parallel line with this one here. Okay, we actually only just need the top and the bottom. Okay, how do we know that angle X and angle Y are equal to one another? Okay, so we look at the vocabulary word that we talked about in the last few days. These are, how are these angles related to one another? They're on opposite sides of the transversal. We call that alternate. They are on the inside of the parallelogram, so interior, so alternate interior angles. And what's significant about alternate interior angles? Okay. On the independent practice page here, they have a few drawings that you can do. If you're not sure how to use the drawings on the Google slide, you don't have to worry about it. If you know how to do it, go ahead and include them as well. So you're drawing the same type of triangle multiple times right next to each other. Okay, so just right like so. And then you're drawing these things as well. So if you don't know how to do it, don't worry about that. I won't take points off for it. Those of you who are able to figure it out, go ahead and put some triangles, and once you have your triangle made, you can just copy and paste and continue to make it just like a pattern here, and that's what they want. Okay, if you can't figure it out, don't worry about it. Okay, part C, this is the answer that I want here. It says Emily decides on the arrangement shown below by continuing to transform the triangle. The edge of the borders are parallel, so this is parallel to this side, so using that same relationship. Name 3 pairs of congruent angles, that mean angles that are equal. All right, so I want 3 pairs of congruent angles. Then use the angle relationship to explain why do you know that they're congruent. Okay, so based on those angle relationships that we learned about, how do you know that they're congruent? That's the second question. Then identify a set of supplementary angles. So which 2 angles do you know are supplementary as well? Okay, so there's 3 questions in this one problem. That's why they give you quite a bit of space to work this out. Okay, and since this is independent practice, I want you guys to go ahead and see if you guys can do that on your own. All right, I'll talk to you later. Bye.